Hello, and welcome to the We Get to Do This podcast. My name is Kailee,
And I'm Jacob.
and we are your co-hosts.
In this show, we're going to dive into all things our lives, from our partnership to romance to entrepreneurship to growing our businesses together, our fitness journeys, and we're going to have a ton of different guests on that relate to what I just said in some way. We're hoping you enjoy the show, and if you do,
Please feel free to follow us, leave us a 5-star review on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and enjoy.
and if you don't like the show, tough. Thank you.
Thanks.
Drum roll, please. Welcome back.
To the We Get to Do This podcast.
Dang.
First episode of 2026.
Wow.
It's crazy. This is our third calendar year in podcast business.
That's pretty crazy.
Started August of 2024. All of 2025, and now we're in 2026.
Wow. Yeah, I think we should maybe see if we can start making some money off this podcast in
I know, what the heck?
2026.
We're still doing this for free.
Can you believe it?
We're still here 72 episodes later.
So, as you may know, every year, Kaylee and I do a reflections walkthrough pod, and then we do a goal setting pod for the upcoming year. So this episode is all about 2020. We're in 2026, right? Yeah, this episode is all about 2025. And we're doing a specific type of reflection that will walk everyone through, and we'll share ours at the same time. So it's definitely one of those ones that I would recommend if you listened to this last year. We got feedback, and it's one of those ones where you want a pen and a pencil, pen and / or pencil, paper, phone note, something to write on. So, you can pause, take notes, do it yourself. I would highly recommend it. I think that the way we do these, this took like 30 minutes to an hour, maybe. But you could do it in like 10 to 30 minutes. But I think that reflecting on the year is so good for to do that before you actually set goals for the next year, because it's very eye opening, especially since last year, we sat down with our last year goals. I also looked at last year's reflections, but we sat down with last year's goals, and it was just really interesting to see, did we hit the goals? What went well? What didn't? And just actually, kind of flashback a year. So, but before we do that, Kaylee is going to reflect a little bit on the podcast for the year.
Yeah, and when we say we do this every year, by that we mean this is our second year of doing this. So
we didn't have to say that. What if someone listened to this on Spotify? What if this was their first episode?
Well, I just said this is
our
third calendar year. So we've only had the opportunity to do this for 2 Decembers now.
Well, we've done it every year so far.
Sorry.
So I technically didn't lie.
Okay, sorry, I'm a Debbie Downer. If you want to go back, I listened to episode 22 the other day, which was our 2024 reflections. It was kind of interesting to go back and listen to those things. But as far as our We Get to Do This podcast reflections go, we released 50 episodes last year. We had on 14 guests. We had thousands of plays, and we Get to Do This mugs, got rid of almost all of those. I think we have one mug left. If you haven't given us a review yet, please review us, and then you can get that last mug. We sold about 50 We Get to Do This shirts, and we held numerous We Get to Do This events. That included doing Hills at Highland. We did our first live podcast at Wild River Running together. We had our January event at the Hot Works.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that was already a year ago.
I
had
can't
a really
believe
good turnout for that too.
It's been a year.
We should do something like that again. And yeah, just lots of group runs and different things. So it's been a really good year.
Yeah, and looking back to 2024, for the podcast, our highest played episode then was 62 plays. And our highest played episode this year was...
A couple hundred, right? Between
Do you
YouTube
have it?
and no. But I think it was the javelina one.
Close to 200. Close to 200. It goes like 170 something. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We had 5 guests on in 2024.
So we like
And I feel
tripled
like
that
this has
this
just
year.
turned into a guest podcast.
I know, we already have we recorded with someone yesterday. We have 2 more guests that we're recording with next week. Yeah, we have a
That's
lot of
pretty
guests
wild.
coming up.
That's pretty wild.
'Cause I'm leaving for Patagonia in a couple weeks, so now we're preparing to get some out.
Wow. So our 2025 goals for the podcast was 48 to 50 episodes, and we released
50.
50.
Mhm.
Only released 50?
Well, 'cause we didn't last week 'cause of Christmas, and
Did we
then
miss another week?
there must have been something weird with the first week of the year, maybe.
All right. Well, we hit the goal, I guess. I thought we only missed Christmas, which is another trend we're starting up. If you haven't noticed, we don't do them during the week of Christmas. And then
Well,
total...
unless, because we started on episode 22, and we just released 72 last week.
So I think the math is technically 51 then, if you count 22 and
I
72.
think you might be right.
It's kind of like the grandma's 50-year anniversary thing. The number's weird.
Okay, so sorry. Yeah, we did. I think we did 51.
Total guest episodes, we wanted to hit 8 to 12 this year. Do you know how many guests we had on? You said that.
14.
14. Nice. And then 2 events. We did the sauna group run. Did we do any other ones?
I mean, I feel like we did a lot of like weekly hills with people. I
Right.
said we did the Wild River running, our live workshop last month.
Yeah. I think I'm most excited for 2026 business wise. Yeah. This is about 2025. I'm not going to say it. Never mind. We did pretty freaking good in 2025. That's sick.
I mean, just the fact that we made it for an entire calendar year with weekly episodes is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and I feel like now we're at a point where it's almost a little addicting. Like now I don't like that. Last year was hard. Or no, the year before. Sorry.
Yeah, and
the
like
year
the first
before
6
was hard.
months.
Yeah, there were so many times I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then, no, I think the first half of last year was a little, I don't know. At some point I like flipped a switch and I was like, got really into it. So again, like you get that like first initial hit, and then like it gets kind of stale and you're like, I don't want to do this. And then it flips, or a switch flipped, and now I'm like super into it again.
Well, we switched to not recording on weekends, and I think
that's
was
probably
huge.
part of it too. And the guests.
Yeah.
Like, I think more guests made it different too, because like the guest recordings felt like networking. It was kind of like a 2 birds, 1 stone type of thing. Like a lot of it was networking that we would be doing anyways. And then we were like, you should just come on our podcast.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
changed our coffee meetups to pod.
Yeah,
episodes.
Whenever anyone asked us to like do things in person, we would usually flip it back on them and say we should meet up instead.
Yeah. So if you want to get on the pod,
if they didn't want to meet up, then we wouldn't really talk to them again, which is kind of sad.
I have somebody that I need to reach out to still that I didn't respond to.
Yeah, which is probably not a good thing because not everyone wants to be on a pod. But oh well.
But the secret to getting on our pod, ask us to go out for coffee.
Yeah. Although I think another 20. Nope, I keep getting ahead of myself. Never mind.
2025.
2025. Okay, let's reflect. So that's the podcast. I think that it'd be fun to do like, this type of reflection setting just for the podcast at some point in our lives. But I think with where we're at right now, I think this is good. I also would like to like do more of a like relationship one. I think that'd be good too. Because like we do like personal and business, and like our relationship overlaps in our personal goals. But I think our audience would find it interesting if we did like Kailee and Jacob romantically, partnership. What do the goals look like there?
Yeah, I agree.
Plus, we were good about doing that for like a couple months and then fell off. And I feel like if we like forced it onto the pod, that would also help us do it more. And I think it's really good for our relationship and everyone's
Yeah.
relationship. So
Especially since we're getting married this year.
yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I'm so excited. So, okay. The way this works is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. We are going to do our top 3 achievements in our personal and business. That's number 1. Number 2, we are going to go over challenges we overcame. Number 3, we're going to do habits that served us well and habits we were leaving behind. Number 4 is our physical health. What movements brought us joy? Number 5, what brought you peace this year? And number 6, what relationships enriched your life? Let's
So
hit it. Number 1.
with our personal and business, you can, if you don't have a business, you can do this as your career, or you could use that as your relationship one with your partner
Or
or
you
your
could just do
children,
top 3 achievements
or you can
too.
just do personal.
I don't even remember where we got this outline from.
I
Did we
think I
just
made
make
it.
you set it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 3 achievements this year in 2025. What are your top 3 personal achievements?
This is fun. My number 1 is getting engaged to Kaylee.
Mm,
That was your number 1 too, right?
it was in my top 3, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't order them in number of importance.
Wow.
They're not in order of importance. So
I'm
yes,
leaving.
it for good.
My number 1 is getting engaged to Kaylee. My number 2 is that see, this is where this is fun because you can look back on what you did the last year. I'm not going to say the exact numbers, but I hit my mileage and strength goal. I wanted to be at 2250 to 2500 miles on the year, and I hit 2310. And I wanted to not be injured, and I wanted to hit 2 to 3 strength sessions on average per year. And I did that the entire year. So
Nice.
that's pretty sick. And then I said spent more time with others because a lot of my stuff from last year was like doing more outside of work and like being more present with other people. And I was thinking about it and I was like, I really feel like I did that this year. I really do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I actually like was enjoying it in the moment too. So
Yeah, I feel
those
like
are
you did
my
really well with that this year.
personal. Your personal?
My personal, number 1, getting engaged to Jacob, becoming a fiance.
You tricked me. It is your number 1. Can I see you?
I'm gonna say them. Um, I did so like athletic wise, I said completing Javelina 100 in less than 24 hours, and I had a blast doing it and was surrounded by all the people that I love. And then I PR'd my 5K, my half marathon, and my 1 mile this year.
Yeah, you had a real good year with running, I feel like.
Yeah. Now I've been wrecked the
And
last 2
lifting.
months,
What about
but
your pull-ups?
and I can do, did I get to 2.5 ever, or just 2? Or 1 and 3/4? I think I did
You
2
definitely got
once.
over 2.
I think I can do, or I did about 2.5 pull-ups at one time, and I feel like at the beginning of last year, I could barely do 1.
That's so you, Bree, and Anna. It was so fun watching you 3. I had someone this past week that said that they wanted to hit a pull-up. And they were like, I'm never gonna be able to do it. And I thought about you 3. And I was
Mhm.
like, they did it 1 year.
I found my
Well, y'all
lats
did it
this year.
earlier than that, but that was like your goal.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm proud of that.
I found my lats this year.
Yeah, they're there.
Turns
Turns
out they're
out.
there.
Weird. And then I said that I grew as a partner, friend, daughter, sister, family member, and then learned more about what Kaylee wants and who I am. I think I'm still in a self-exploration of what does Kaylee want. I did better at that this year, so I'm really proud of it. Business-wise, I'll go first. I became 100% fully self-employed this year
In year 3 of your business.
as of end of February, which I can't believe I was still not fully self-employed at the beginning of this year.
That's
Like, it's
wild.
only
Yeah.
been, like, 10 months.
How long have you not been a nurse anymore?
25 months.
Since 2 years? Okay.
Yeah. In August of 2023, I left the hospital because they wanted me to work on Christmas Day, and it was our first Christmas together.
I'm so
And
happy that
Jacob
happened.
was like, "Quit," because I really wanted to make it to January of 2024, and you were like, "No."
Well, it's one of those things where you get to a point with, like, a good example is when I was at Gear and I was holding on to it because of the shoe discount.
Yeah,
And if you do the math on, like, the perks of doing it, like, you were very big on, like, if I stay once a month, I don't even remember what the benefit was actually, but it was, like, whatever it was. And then when you quit, we didn't even, like, no, like, clearly, we didn't even notice the
yeah,
benefit was gone. But, like, you held on to it, and I was like, "Okay." So,
yeah, it's hard to let that go, and I still get asked at least once a month or if not more if I miss it, and
do you?
no.
Alright.
Um, oh yeah, so I became 100% fully self-employed and I didn't pick up any other jobs outside of my business, which was one of my goals for last year was to, cause my goal was to become fully self-employed and then to not just like fill that void with other things. And I didn't. Everything that I picked up was somehow like related to the business and I didn't pick up any like contract jobs or anything else. So that was huge for me because I'm used to having like 6 different jobs going on at all times, and it was just this. And by just, I mean that was 10 jobs within the business, but you know what I mean. I had a 64.9% increase in gross income from 2024 from last year.
Dang.
And also appointment wise, I grew about 72%. And then I became a slightly sponsored athlete with Cuvetta. I was a speaker, asked to be a speaker at Stride to Ski out at the Berkey and Wild River Running, and did a lot of like community events and continuing ed things where I flew to San Diego. I
Yeah,
feel like I
you had a
grew
good
like
year.
educationally and just like professionally.
Yeah. My top 3 achievements, my net income goal, I hit my net income goal. I more than doubled my net income from the year before. My group classes grew, also more than doubled, revenue-wise, group classes. I feel like that was probably, like, my biggest. That was cool to see. The group classes specifically grew a lot, so that was really cool. And I don't actually have the other number written down. I think it went up. My amount of personal training sessions went up. I was at 9 to 10 per week, and I was at 15 per week. My average this year is 15 per week in my one-on-one training sessions, and I was at 9 to 10 last year.
And that's with doing 4 days
And
too.
that's off 4 days, yeah.
Because I think you were
And
5.
like 10 of those are on like Tuesday, I feel like. Not actually, but it's like 5, 5, 5, 5, basically. See, like that actually that seems lower than what it like 15 seems lower.
Is the
And I'm
15
like,
the average of the whole year?
yeah, and it's also just my training. So there's no gate, there's no group classes, there's no building classes. I guess I only do 2 building classes. 3, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I feel like you do way more than 15.
yeah.
That's also, I mean, we travel, but
Yeah, I guess travel makes a difference. There's weeks though where I'm only there 3 days a week. I guess maybe average wise, I don't know, but the average went up 5 per week. So, because I remember thinking last year too, like, oh wow, I'm only at 9 per week. But my goal is to be at 15 to 20. I would love to be at 15, but at the same time, I'm like, shit. If this is what 15 per week feels like, holy smokes. But I will say it was really interesting though, because I did the math and I always thought that if you broke down my run coaching, so I do run coaching classes, gait analysis, and personal training. And I always thought if you broke down how much I get paid per hour on those, run coaching and group classes would be significantly higher. And I did it, and the difference is run coaching is $30 more an hour than training, and classes are only $13 more an hour. in training. So that was a pretty big takeaway on the year. That's really interesting that I'm gonna probably come back to in the next year because I was always like, grow run coaching, grow classes because you're making more per hour. I do think the potential is still there to make more per hour though. I will say because it's like I had a few classes that were above 10 people, right? I bet that number is less than 10 throughout the whole year. I feel like that's what I need to, you know, and then I had I'd say a lot of classes that were 4 to 6 people,
Yeah.
and there was probably, like, 5 classes that were 0. So, I think it's just the average,
Yeah.
makes such a difference.
I think with classes, there's no cap, and run coaching, there's no cap. Whereas
Right.
personal training, like, you can only make a certain amount in the hour, and you can only do a certain amount of sessions per week. So I think there is still the potential there.
Yeah. I am very excited for 20 having this info for 2026. So, okay, so that's number 1, top 3 achievements, personal and business. Pause here, write yours down. And now we're moving on to number 2, challenges we overcame. Are we just gonna rattle through all of ours and then
Oh, yeah. You can pick. I'm probably just gonna do a couple, my top,
okay. Well,
whatever you want.
yeah, I think that so I wrote spent more time with others, which I'm pretty hyped about because on my goals from last year, I had more family time written down, more time with Kaylee, and more community time. So I'm pretty hyped about that because I feel, and I wrote that before I looked, so I'm happy about that. Uh, I think I did a phenomenal job with my discipline this year outside of running. So I think up until this year, I was able to kind of just run, 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 run. And then specifically last year, that like kind of caught up with me, like when I got injured, remember? And then I like gained 20 pounds and didn't feel very good in my skin, didn't feel really good running, etc. So this year, I didn't actually like have a plan to necessarily run more or do more races. It was more like become disciplined on the other things. So like sleep, nutrition, stuff like that. So I think I did a great job there. Specifically with sleep, according to my aura ring, I was way more consistent with my go to bed and wake up time. The year prior, I was varied. And then did not have any injuries this year, and I felt just more balanced with running. So
Yay. Challenges I overcame. I feel like I was better at the comparison game, and I hid some people on social media that weren't serving me, so that they weren't popping up and making me feel like I had to compare myself to them. That's a continuous process for me. And then I feel like I did better at not overscheduling myself constantly. That's always been a challenge for me is overbooking, overscheduling, and just wanting to fit everything in all the time. And along with that, I felt like I was better at protecting my time and getting better at saying no and not feeling like I needed to be everything to everyone and be everywhere all the time. Still working on all those things. Next one. Which habits served you well this year? Which ones would you like to leave behind? So, habits that served me well this year. I got better at not using my phone in bed. Still working on that one, but it's getting better. I never we always plug in our phones outside the room, but then in the mornings, I have this habit of wanting to bring it in, and then you doom scroll, and then all of a sudden, it's so sad 'cause it's like an hour can go by so fast. It's like, what just happened? I could have done so many other things with that hour. But I feel like I did get better at it. The last week or two, I could have improved. But, anyways, um, daily movement, but also being okay with taking days off and resting. I feel like I'm getting a lot better at chilling out and not feeling like I have to do some kind of exercise every single day. And part of that is because the last couple of months have literally wrecked me and forced me to sit on my butt. And there's just been days when I like literally couldn't. do anything.
That's exercise specific. So maybe this year we apply it to everything.
Well, I mean, I was talking about movement, but yeah, in general,
You
there are
did you
days
did a
where
good job with movement this year with that, I will say. Yes.
yeah, I feel like I'm getting a lot more relaxed. Like, I used to be the person where every day I had to have something lined up, and I still think about it every day, but I feel like like today, I didn't even go on a walk because I was so tired this morning. I laid down all morning again. That's a whole nother conversation. Um, Not feeling like I always have to push through everything and to tough things out. And I feel like I was better at not being as sarcastic and saying snide remarks or undercutting things to you specifically
Yeah, I think you were a lot better at that.
and others with like sarcastic comments and snide remarks. Something I'm really working on untangling and not drinking when I didn't want to.
Habits that served me well. Wait, did you do well and then
I
leave?
just did well.
Okay. Habits that served me well. I wrote down number one was time blocking my schedule. I fell out of that habit, unfortunately. So I'm going to come back to that habit because I got really good about that in September and October. That helped a lot. I'll talk about that probably in the goal setting episode more. Number two, this is probably the biggest one for me. And last year I actually wrote down for the goals portion, one of the questions is, what does your ideal morning look like? And I tried to follow that. And then at one point, I don't remember when, I basically said, fuck it. I'm done with this optimal morning thing. And I started getting up like 30 minutes later on average and just getting up and going to the gym instead of like trying to get up, read, have some Jacob time. I just accepted, like, look, if I'm going to start at 6 a.m., there's no Jacob time in the morning. And it turns out it's been great. Been getting way more sleep, been feeling way better. So,
Because
yeah.
you were waking up at like 4:30 for a little bit or like 4:15.
Yeah, I was going to like 4:15 some days because I wanted to like read before I went to work. It wasn't working. So I left, or I decided that getting up later / not forcing optimal AM routine, that served me well. The 12-week year system instead of my daily task list. So I've been doing that now instead. There's a book called The 12-Week Year. I'll save you the details. You could also Google it if you wanted to, but I've been using that system instead of like a daily to-do list. And it's been awesome. And then I started using Screen Zen for my social media apps, and I deleted all but Instagram and Strava off my phone. So that's also been good. So Instagram, I have a 2-day limit, and then Strava, I have a 4 per day limit. And I've played around throughout the year with like 2 to 5 or on both. So that's what they're currently at, though. Habits that I'm leaving behind. I wrote having a bazillion goals / needing to be more straightforward. So that's one thing I'm going to leave behind, is that I tend to write down a bazillion things that I'm going to do like in the next year. And I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to be more specific and do less. And then being mad at myself for overbooking my calendar. I think that's something that I am also leaving behind. I've decided that I keep doing it. I like being busy. I like hanging out with different people. I like doing different things. If I'm able to get sleep and whatever, and I'm enjoying all of it, that's fine. And I don't need to be mad at myself anymore for doing that. And that's made my life easier too. Because like yesterday when you said you've been so chill this holiday season, I was like, yeah. And I think that's the big key. It's because I haven't, before I'd be like anxious and like getting mad at myself for saying yes to so many things. But now this time I was like, oh, I said yes. I knew what I was doing. It's okay. So
Yeah, you're a lot better at that. I am leaving behind always feeling like I'm disappointing others and my family. I'm leaving behind taking life so seriously, feeling like I always need to be productive. Again, the comparison thing to others and especially in business and perfectionism.
number 4, Nurture physical health. What movement brought you joy? Go ahead, man.
Um, Wait, so these are body and wellness check-ins. So how did you nurture your physical health this year?
Hmm.
And then what movement practices brought you joy? But those are pretty close to the same. Um, I said saunas, doing yoga. I've been getting into that again. Getting 8+ hours of sleep, resting more, trail running, going to acupuncture appointments, strength training, biking, and hiking. All those things brought me a lot of joy and made me feel filled.
But there's more to that, you're saying?
They were just broken down into 2 questions, but you can just combine them.
Oh, okay. So what movements brought me joy? I said training with Zach. That has been game changing. I've really enjoyed that, especially now that you're coming sometimes. Working with a personal trainer is so lit. It's crazy. Which is a very privileged thing to say. But trails and hills with Bay. I had a very fun time doing trails and hills with you. Like in August or whatever, when we were like, we're just gonna start running things. And screw heart rate zones, screw effort. We're just gonna run things. That's what we're here to do. And I got so fit
You got really
doing
fit.
that. Turns out,
I kinda miss that.
like, holy shit. That, like, I mean, look, I'm all about 80-20. I'm all about walking hills when it makes sense. But turns out, if you want to get fit really fast, don't walk hills. Just go run hills. Because the first, like, 2 weeks sucked. I felt like, back in like middle school, high school, and I was like, why am I doing this? But then you like
And your heart's,
get
like,
used
beating
to
out of
it.
your
Yeah.
face.
We were like 190, 200 going up some of these hills on trails. And then like after 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, all of a sudden it was like you get used to it. And we were like running the Highland Hill up and down 5 times in a row. And I was like, what? And then you get on a flat road. Oh my God, it was crazy. And then when you do walk hills in like races, your heart rate just plummets and you are like so recovered during it. So
Yeah, that was fun.
that brought me a lot of joy. I think the fitness that we gained brought me a lot of joy. And then I've been doing a lot of tread speed work again because it's a winter time, so it's super acceptable to use the treadmill. I forgot how much I love running speed work on the treadmill. It's so fun. So I've been really enjoying that too. That's number 4. Number 5?
What are you grieving from in 2025? Did you write this one?
No, I did not have this. I have a lot more things to do.
Hmm, it was one of them.
What are you grieving from in 2025?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Um, my grandma Lori being gone and not seeing me engaged, and just knowing she won't be part of that and just wasn't physically there in 2025, but was still kind of everywhere at the same time. Um, TBH, I'm kind of grieving the last couple months. And just after Javelina, like Javelina was awesome, but as I've alluded to multiple times now, just how hard the last couple of months have been, like mentally and physically. And honestly, like seeing my like race prediction times, like just I need to stop looking at Garmin. I know what not to do, but I just keep doing it and just seeing like all of my times just increasing and seeing like just how everything is just like so much slower and how much harder 1, 2, 3 miles feels now than it did 2 months ago. And also just grieving just like the passing of time in life and just seeing our friendships change, people who have split up this year, people who have passed, close people, and just, yeah, just the time thing moving, even though it's all part of life, it still kind of causes some sadness and grief. because we are all impermanent. What are
Uh,
yours?
so okay, so what I grieved this year, I think what your last one was actually really good too. That's kind of like what I wrote down as this third one. I wrote, life is so much harder as an adult slash sadder as an adult. I think that could be because we watched Stranger Things today, some of my feels right now. And I don't want to go, I wouldn't go,
And we were
like,
just listening to the Taylor Swift sad songs.
yeah. And I wouldn't like go back, but I think that, yeah, I think there's just a lot of times when we come home, we're like, fuck. Like you just like, I guess, miss how much easier it was as like a kid or a teenager, things like that. I think I grieve that a lot, honestly. But I don't like miss it either, I guess. And then I put, I'm grieving past family members slash like different times now. I've struggled with the holidays specifically for like the past 5 years, but um, I think that goes with it too, just how much like life changes. And like Nick moved, your sister is moving. Um, Still grieving like my uncle not being around, just like other complicated things that we all have in family stuff. But I think that growing up as a child, you're so not aware of complications. And
You're
I
not
think that,
responsible for any of them. The
yeah,
adults take care of everything.
right. And I think that I'm just so much more aware of it now. Um, so, and then lost mentors, but it allowed me to find new mentors this year. So that's been kind of cool, but definitely grieving some lost mentorship in certain ways now that I'm in a different period of my just like professional life and stuff. So I think that'll be yeah, mentors, connections, lost
Mhm.
things like that. But that's life.
Yeah, it's like all the endings bring about new beginnings.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's life, like you said. Mind and spirit. What brought you peace this year?
Do we fill out the same goal sheet? I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, what's your next one? I thought we talked about this.
I'm just kidding. I just missed that one somehow. What brought you peace this year? Anything with Kaylee. What? You're like the best thing in my life.
Love
Um,
you.
I said no more. Realizing I don't need to be everywhere. My like fear of missing out is like gone. That's not true. It's still there a little bit, but it's way different, which I think is huge. Coffee shops. I also wrote down coffee last year. Funny enough. But I thought it was interesting how this year I wrote down coffee shops, not coffee. Travel brought me peace this year, which is one of my goals from last year, and more sleep. Turns out I didn't actually get much more sleep than the year before, though, but it was more consistent. So, what brought you peace, babe?
Time with you. What? That was my number one.
Oh, you just laughed at me when I said that, so I just figured I'd return
Oh,
the favor.
yeah. Game nights. We did a ton of game nights with
Should have wrote
Taylor and
that.
Zach and Nay and Will, family. So much fun. Trail running, our van trip to the Pacific Northwest, our trip to the Boundary Waters with Matt and Travis, cooking, baking sourdough bread, learned how to do that this year, being by the ocean and water numerous times this year, date nights with Jacob, acupuncture massages, and then also coffee shop work days. What are you looking at? What?
I'm just looking ahead to your next question because our first three are all the same.
Funny. Um, I was kind of actually thinking that so the next one is what relationships enriched your life. Do you want to share this one?
Yeah, we did it last year.
I know, but it was kind of awkward at the end because then we're like, oh shoot, we like forgot about a bunch of people. You
I
can share.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
I feel like it's fine. I think that we're all adults. I am going to say some names here that I can pretty much guarantee I will forget someone, and I'm apologizing for that right now. But I also think it's fun. I mean, like I think we encompass a pretty.
Well, it's interesting, like looking back on last year, like there's some people that like are no longer together. that were like huge parts of our
Yeah, I did think
lives.
that was interesting looking at what I wrote
It's
last
kind of
year.
sad.
Yeah.
But
Um,
also, looking at the new people for this year, like there's people I didn't write last year. So
yeah. I think it's fun because I think, I don't know, people, honestly, the people that I don't say probably aren't listening to this podcast too. I don't know,
yeah.
maybe not. Just, I think we should do it. So, what relationships enriched your life? Again, if I forgot someone, like you probably still enriched my life. Like literally, so many people. I wrote down Kaylee. I wrote down Nay and Will. I wrote down Zach and Taylor. I wrote down Evan and Eli, Matt Welch, Zachary Martin, Peyton and Kyle, Jack and Lauren, Noah, family, Oak, community. Those two are big. Matt and Travis, and then I wrote down Kyle Consilja. Kyle, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but I specifically, when I wrote him down, there was a question I got asked this year that who became a new friend, and he is for sure top of the list for that. So I needed to make sure I included him on there.
hmm Mine were Jacob, Nay and Will, Taylor and Zach, Hannah and Bennett, both of our families, Evan and Eli, Al, Sonia, the Oak Endurance community, my patients, Matt and Travis, and Becky.
See, that's where it's hard because I'm like, oh, duh, Al, Becky,
Yeah.
everyone on the Javelina trip,
Yeah.
every single person on the trip we just went on to Kiowa,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
And Anna.
like Anna, Bree, Jillian, like there's so many,
Yeah.
you know, that's also why I put Oak community because like
Yeah. That's
every
kind of why
single
I did that
person that
too.
is in that
And like
community in some way,
patience as
Rachel,
well.
I could literally list out every single person that's in that community. So it's a hard question and one we maybe shouldn't share, but so far I think it's fine to do that.
Yeah. We have a really good crew.
Yeah, I think like we talk about, I think one of the things that we are both so blessed with is the amount of connections we have, which can be hard because like sometimes we don't see people for like 2 months, and it's like, or 3 months or
Longer.
longer. And I'm like, what have we been doing that we can't see them sooner? I think it's just because we're so,
Time just goes by very, very
time goes by
fast.
fast and we book ourselves a lot and things like that. So I think we're
And
very, very lucky. And
and we try to be good at finding time with just the two of us too.
yeah, it should be like a number one priority this next year.
That was good. Those are all of them.
So
Another year.
another year, reflect. And next week, 2 weeks,
Probably next week we'll release our looking ahead
possible.
for
Well, we might be releasing a sober January one though. No,
sometime this month we'll
in
be
1 or 2 weeks
releasing.
you'll get the next one. But so 2025 reflections. You write down number 1, top 3 achievements, your personal and business. Number 2, challenges you overcame. Number 3, habits that served you well and habits you're going to leave behind. Number 4, what movements brought you joy / what nurture your physical health. Number 5, grieving. What are you grieving from the past year? Number 6, what brought you peace this year? And number 7, what relationships enriched your life?
I feel like I was gonna ask what your we get to do this moment is, but I feel like for of the year, your we get to do this moment, for me it's like all of the top achievements that we did, unless you want to list something else.
I mean, yeah, getting engaged.
Yeah.
I guess if we couldn't use getting engaged, it would probably be Washington. Ah, fuck, no. My we get to do this one if it's not getting engaged is running Magnolia Road. Hands down. Yeah, hands down. Not even close. That's for sure. That was a very cool moment on the year. What's yours if we can't use getting
My
engaged
top we get to do this
for
moment,
the year?
Javelina.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Challenged me in all the ways. Both so fun. Thank you for listening.
I'm gonna post that in the show notes too, so they have the outline.
Perfect. Welcome to 2026. It's gonna be a good
2026.
year. It's the year of the horse, which is all about empowerment and joy and movement and expression, and it's gonna be a really good year.
The year of the horse.
Yeah. We will see you all soon. And before we know it, we're going to be doing a 2026 reflection
For
episode.
real.
Thank you all for being here. And yeah, looking back on the last year, like we couldn't do this without you. So we really appreciate you all being here and supporting us. Jacob's currently spelling out with his hands. We get to do this, I think.
Peace.
All right, with that, peace. Goodbye.
Wow, Kaylee, we made it through another episode. What do you think?
We would love if you would go give us a follow, a 5-star review, and comment on the episode and what you liked and what you'd like to see more of.
See you next time.
We get to do this.